Tonight on Elon Local News.
Matt Matheny is out. The men's basketball coach is fired after 10 years at Elon.
50 dead in New Zealand. How the Elon community is mourning the lives lost at Christchurch Mosque.
In shock. I didn't believe that this could happen to me, and I'm 54, but I feel so young.
In the battle of a lifetime for one Elon professor.
All that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Gibson.
And I'm Samantha Casamento. We begin tonight with breaking news. Elon Athletics announced this afternoon that men's basketball head coach Matt Matheny has been fired. Our Jack Haley is live with the latest. Jack.
That's right, Samantha. Matheny finished his 10th season as head coach last week with a loss to UNC Wilmington in the first round of the CAA tournament. That was the last game that he coached. And in his final season, the Phoenix went 11-21, Matheny's worst record since his inaugural season. In a statement, Director of Athletics Dave Blank said after thanking Matheny for his time at Elon, quote, "After a thorough review of the program, I believe a new direction at this time is necessary to move our program forward and provide the best chance for our student athletes to compete for championships," end quote. I'll be back later in the show with a full update on Phoenix sports. Samantha and Amanda, back to you.
Thanks, Jack. For more updates on this story, visit elonnewsnetwork.com.
Tonight, the Elon community is gathering on campus to support Muslims everywhere after a gunman opened fire in 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand 3 days ago. Our Rachel Ellis is live outside of Newman Lumen Pavilion, where students and faculty came together to heal. Rachel, what was it like inside?
Amanda, Samantha, good evening. Just moments ago, every chair in this room was filled with students and faculty remembering the 50 people killed in Christchurch, New Zealand over the weekend, including kids as young as 3 years old. Now, Jewish, Muslim, and Catholic chaplains at Elon condemned the shooting, calling it an act of hate and violence in an email sent to students and faculty earlier this week. But tonight's service was all about healing and finding peace through this tragedy. Now with me is Noor Irshadat. She's an Elon Junior and identifies as Muslim. Noor, describe me what emotions were going through your head tonight.
Definitely the gathering was a way for us to process what happened. There's a lot of pain that we feel, and I feel especially as a Muslim student away from home. There aren't a lot of us here, but it was really nice to see the community come together, process what happened, and try to emphasize the common things that we share and support each other, be there for each other, and see how we can go forward from here.
And moving forward, how does your religious community move forward through this tragedy?
I think it's mostly trying to be ambassadors of our tradition and showing people, raising awareness that Islam is not about hate, it's about love, and it's about peace, and trying to highlight that, share our knowledge with other people, and see how we can help and be the best ambassadors that we can be for our tradition.
Well, thank you, Noor, so much for joining us tonight. For more on tonight's gathering of friends, check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com. I'll send it back to you all in the studio.
Thanks, Rachel.
We are now joined by the head of the Women's Committee, Burlington Masjid Mosque, Amal Kaddour. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So what was your initial reaction when you heard about the New Zealand shooting?
It's very scary and very, very sad. You know, it's just very shocked. You know, people, a person come and take people's life, that kind of like a video game. To me, it was, it's like kind of unreal. There is a human being can do that.
And so this weekend, your community was gathered together at the mosque, including Congressman Mark Walker. So what was that like to have him there and also to just have the community together this weekend?
It was very good to see like all the community, they come together in such a tragedy like that. We were like overwhelmed with see the amount of love the people they carry in their heart, even though like I think, you know, God, he created us different nation, different languages, different color, but God, you know, want us all to live in peace and want, you know, all to have love to each other. So I saw that yesterday in reality.
And what can the Elon community do to support those in the Muslim community?
Just like to make people more aware and understanding that, I think spread the word, we all here as a human being, and the life of the human being, it's matter for everybody. It doesn't matter where they are from and what is their background or their religion, it's just like we have to accept, each other, God, give us a land, one land to live on earth, and if He wants us to be only like white or black or Hispanic or, He created one, and just all we have to live together. But God is make us different.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
There are 33 Elon students studying abroad in New Zealand right now. The closest program to the mosque is over 200 miles away.
Today, the Alamance County Sheriff's Department announced the results of a renewed effort against drug trafficking. During Phase 2, dubbed Spring Cleaning, officers arrested 19 individuals on felony and misdemeanor drug charges. Sheriff Terry Johnson says this is a nationwide problem.
Our court system must step up to the plate and effectively deal with those individuals that defy our criminal laws. Law enforcement must declare an all-out war on the drug dealers and drug traffickers.
All of the individuals arrested in Phase 2 have extensive criminal records, 2 of whom were previously arrested by the Sheriff's Office but released on bond. Johnson says we need to better educate our citizens and kids about the danger of drugs.
We cannot continue to lose human lives in this nation at the rate we're doing.
In January and February of this year, Alamance Emergency Services responded to 18 overdose calls. The sheriff said his team will continue to pursue drug trafficking offenders.
SGA's newly elected Senate is meeting tonight to discuss plans for the upcoming school year. Executive President-elect Jack Johnson beat opponent Nate Jones by just under 300 votes. As the new student body president, he says he hopes to get more students involved in the student government process.
My hope is that I can work with my vice president and the rest of the executive board to really push through some amendments that make SGA more accessible to students.
List of promises as President Johnson says he wants to open up more positions in SGA that will bring a fuller representation to the student body. Johnson promises he will expand programming committees and add Senate positions that better represent Greek life in SGA. He also says he wants to better address student concerns during his term.
We have had a track record of not being as good of listeners as we should be, not being as focused on what the student voice cares about.
Johnson will be sworn in at the Lambert Award ceremony for student organizations on Tuesday.
In a newly approved legislation, the SGA Senate will take a stand against a planned extension of the Mountain Valley Pipeline. The proposed extension would add 72 miles to the existing pipeline. It would be located about 6 miles from campus. Many organizers and environmentalists in Alamance County have spoken out against a pipeline in the area.
In September of 2018, the Alamance County Board of Commissioners unanimously opposed the pipeline. The university has not provided a comment on the proposal.
Free feminine products will be in bathrooms across campus for 2 more years. On Thursday, SGA passed a resolution to extend its Free the Flow pilot program, providing menstrual products in female and gender-neutral bathrooms. $11,000 from SGA's budget will be given to the program, and Physical Plant will continue to restock those bathrooms.
There's a new face on North Carolina's Supreme Court, Democrat Mark Davis. Governor Roy Cooper appointed Davis last Monday. He'll be the court's first Jewish Associate Justice. Sam Chesson, an intern at Elon Hillel, says this nomination is important for the Jewish community.
So it kind of seems like within the past couple months and year, there have been a lot of crimes pertaining to religion. We don't see a lot of this representation with the Jewish community, so I think it's a really good step forward.
After Davis's appointment, North Carolina Democrats now hold a 6-1 majority in the court. Mark Davis holds one of 3 Supreme Court seats up for re-election in 2020.
A new ID will allow Elon students more than just dining hall access. Students will soon be able to use an additional card given by the university as identification at polls. The North Carolina State Board of Elections recently approved this proposed card, but the change would not take effect until 2020. The university will be supplying this card to those who request it. Associate Vice President for Business, Finance, and Technology Bob Shea said in an email to ENN that it will cost the university $57,000 for the equipment to make these new cards. It would have cost more than $40,000 to recard all students. Shea also says new IDs for all students are not necessary because, quote, 20% of our students already come from North Carolina, and then many students that come from different states vote in their home state, end quote. We spoke with out-of-state students about their reactions.
It's a decent idea, but I think that more incentive would be if people didn't have to pay for it.
I would be pretty bitter if we had to spend our own money because we're already spending a lot of money towards Elon, and I think it would be best if they could give it to us for free.
I mean, I have a driver's license that I already pay for, so I'm not sure why I would pay for another form of ID.
I don't want to have to pay for a student ID, but if we can use it for voting, that would be really helpful.
I'm mixed on it because I don't want to have to pay, but I think that it'd be great for voting purposes.
I think it'd be cool. It'd probably encourage more people to go vote.
For full details on this story, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Coming up, the cost of burnt toast. Find out how much false fire alarms are costing the town.
No, before you go, I'll have the prices you can expect when you fill up before leaving for spring break.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
You're watching Elon Local News.
It's supposed to be the sound of an emergency, but instead it's burnt food and steamy showers that the Elon Fire Department says is costing them trips to campus. Our Selena Guevara looks at what exactly happens each time the Elon Fire Department responds to an alarm.
These flashing lights can mean a mass exodus from the dorms. Freshman Sydney Chappell says she was kicked outside in the middle of the night last fall after steam from a hallmate's shower set off the alarm.
Yeah, it was awful, and I was like, oh, cool, time to grab as many clothes as I can so that I can run out into the cold.
And her experience isn't unique. The Elon Fire Department responded to more than 250 alarms on campus last year. That's about a third of all the department's fire calls, and none of them were for an actual fire.
Light smoke was in the resident, and the alarm showed a kitchen detector. Burnt food was the cause.
The fire department treats every call like it's the real thing, sending at least 3 trucks and 5 people to each alarm. Now these trucks here, they cost about $200 an hour to operate, and with every false alarm lasting about 30 minutes, those costs add up quickly. And it's not the Elon students who are footing the bill.
Residents of the town of Elon who pay taxes to the town of Elon are covering all of those costs.
Despite all the accidental alarms, firefighters say they don't want to become complacent about student safety.
They can be aggravating and be a little bit of a nuisance, but they're in place for a reason.
But Sharp says she worries about having enough resources.
I hope, too, that they're not called out on an accidental situation where, a student is burning popcorn or the shower's too hot, and, that takes them away from a real emergency. I think that's really my biggest concern.
Selena Guevara, Elon Local News.
For a more detailed breakdown of the cost, you can visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
As students buckle up and get set to hit the road for spring break, our John Sarver is in studio to break down the best places to fill up. John.
If you're looking to top off your tank before starting your drive, the Circle K gas station on campus is a good place to start. Gas is $2.43 a gallon right now, sitting 11 cents below the national average of $2.54 per gallon. If you're headed north or south, gas will be cheaper either way you go. Gas is going to run you $2.35 in Virginia and $2.30 in South Carolina. As students get into the Northeast, they can expect to pay more at the pump. If you're looking to save money, avoid filling up in Pennsylvania and New York. Students would be looking at $2.75 in Pennsylvania and $2.66 in New York. That's all for Pump Patrol. Make sure you buckle up and drive safely on the road to enjoying your spring break. Amanda and Sam, back to you.
Thanks, John. Glenda Phillips Hightower, the first full-time African-American student enrolled at Elon, will receive an honorary doctorate degree from the university. Phillips was admitted to Elon in 1963 during segregation in the fight for civil rights. The honor will be given during spring convocation in Alumni Gym on Thursday, April 4th.
Take a drive around Burlington and you might notice a recurring theme: streets lined with fast food chains. Our Carly Thomas sees how this affects local restaurants.
If you're looking for a meal off campus, Burlington is the place to be. According to the Restaurant Growth Index by Nelson Research, Burlington is ranked number 29 out of 150 for most restaurants per capita in the United States and number 1 in North Carolina. Sal's Italian restaurant owner, Sal Mazurko, says he has to find ways to make his restaurant stand out.
We have to use more of the social media, build followers local, as a means of actually getting our message out to the population coming in.
With so many fast food and chain restaurants, local restaurants must find ways to attract customers. Hershey's barbecue owner Chris Hershey says he focuses on a close customer relationship.
That's being a locally owned, family-run business, and we try to stay involved in the community a lot. It keeps us up there. And that when we try to treat our customers like their family, they are a family.
Currently, I'm at Sal's Italian restaurant, and just a few steps away is Cookout, with a line all the way into the road.
Cookout is one of the many other popular fast food spots that local restaurants have to compete with. Burlington follows after other cities in North Carolina like Charlotte, Greensboro, and Asheville in size, but its location is what makes it a popular travel spot. With Burlington growing in size, Mazurko said he has had to change and update to increase customers.
And so I've found that DoorDash, Grubhub, the delivery services, that's what people want because they want convenience. They want it to be delivered to them because we live such busy lives.
Mazurko also says social media has been a helpful tool to promote business. Freshman Julia Kosis runs Instagram page Elon Eats and says she uses social media to find good spots to eat.
We've started following local businesses and we always tag them in our posts when we go there. And they've been actually thanking us recently and appreciating that we're supporting them.
With new restaurants like Chipotle and Dairy Queen coming soon, competition is only going to increase. Carly Thomas, Elon Local News.
The Vice President of the Alamance Chamber of Commerce, Reagan Garral, says the number of restaurants is due to Burlington's location near 2 major interstates. And teachers support their students in the classroom, but after the break, one Elon professor is asking her students to do the same for her.
After the break, I'll let you know what the weather will look like for our last week on campus before spring break. Stay tuned.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
We have our Maeve Ashbrook live outside with the Phoenix 5-day forecast. Maeve.
Thanks, Sam and Amanda. It is our last week here on campus before spring break, and it's going to be a lot like today weather-wise, a little brisk, a little sunny, depending on where you're standing and what type of the day it is. As far as our Phoenix 5-day forecast, tomorrow we will be seeing a high of 55 and a low of 32, and on Wednesday there will also be a high of 55 and a low of 38. On Thursday, there is a 40% chance of rain in the afternoon. However, the high is 64 degrees, so it's going to warm up a little bit at the end of the week. On Friday, it's going to be a high of 60 degrees and a low of 37, and on Saturday, a high of 64 and a low of 38. So as we start to depart campus, it's going to be a nice sunny exit. That's all I have for you today. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Maeve. We're continuing our series featuring female leaders on campus for Women's History Month. Some students may be missing a familiar face this semester. I met up with the professor who has had to take a break from her classroom duties to face one of the biggest battles of her life. Looking through old pictures,
brother Chris with special needs, and
reliving memories.
This is my college ID. Now I look at it and I was like, what was I doing with my hair?
And playing with her dogs have become a daily routine for business professor Maria LaChapelle this semester. She always takes pride in supporting her students in and out of the classroom, and now she's asking her students to do the same for her.
It is amazing. It's been such a meaningful experience, and I love it. I mean, I can't wait to return to it after I finish my rehabilitation.
Just a few months ago, what started as a normal day for LaChapelle ended with a startling discovery.
I was in shock. I didn't believe that this could happen to me, and I'm 54, but I feel so young.
She was diagnosed with a disease affecting 1 in 8 women in the United States.
The doctor called me, it was about 7 p.m., and she said, you have breast cancer, and we need to get you to see a specialist right away.
The past few months have been difficult, with a double mastectomy just over a month ago and her first reconstructive surgery last week.
The only thing you can do is just get through it. And I experienced that in the hospital, and we took some photographs and I was smiling, but you could see like my face was really, you know, angst.
While not teaching this semester, she has had countless support from her fellow professors and students, who raised over $2,600 to help pay for her surgeries.
My first donation from a student was $5, and I was like, as a student, that's so generous and so kind.
She says it's kind words that keep her going.
There's encouragement because I'm sharing what I'm going through, but there's also encouragement back that, hey, you can beat this, you know, go get him, girl.
LaChapelle is expecting to be back teaching in the fall, and in the meantime, anyone looking to help pay for her treatment can donate at GoFundMe.com/Maria LaChapelle Breast Cancer Treatment.
With basketball season over for the Phoenix, spring sports are taking their spotlight on campus. I'll have the sports update after the break.
Shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Our Jack Haley is back in studio with the latest news and sports. Jack?
Thanks, Samantha and Amanda. The softball team took on UNCG this weekend after losing both games of a doubleheader in Greensboro. The Phoenix traveled back to Elon to play the series finale at home. The Bats could not get going on Sunday, and Phoenix lost to the Spartans 4-1. This hiccup is the longest losing streak so far this year. Despite the 3-game losing streak, softball has had success in the first half of the season, and conference play for the team starts this weekend. Our Alex Reynolds caught up with them.
Elon softball is off to a strong start with in-conference matchups right around the corner. The team has been battle-tested so far and have a record of 15-10-1 midway through the season. Coach Kathy Bocock enters her 8th season with the Phoenix with a young roster that features 10 underclassmen, many of whom are in the starting lineup.
We have 8 freshmen, and the 8 freshmen have bought into this program, but it's because of the older ones. You know, it helps, and they're doing a great job, and you know they're seeing some success. And when you see success, it's easy for stuff.
The young talent of the Phoenix has been put to the test in the past 2 months, competing against the nation's top teams in non-conference tournaments. Elon fell to the then #1 team in the country, Florida State, in Tallahassee, 15-1. The Phoenix then traveled to Athens to take on #8 ranked Georgia, where they stunned the Bulldogs 5-4.
These kids are here to play Division I softball, and they want to play against the best. So, you know, let's do it. You know, what's the worst can happen? You lose, but you know, I mean, but you don't get any better if you don't play the best.
Junior pitcher Kenna Quinn closed out the upset victory over Georgia. Quinn says that the trust the team has will bring success in conference matchups.
We trust each other a lot more. I know I trust my defense a lot more than I did at the beginning of the year because I've seen how well they work behind me. And I think that's very important going into conference, that we just trust each other, and I think we have that.
The Maroon and Gold takes on North Carolina A&T on Wednesday before traveling to #22 James Madison to battle the conference favorite Dukes. Alex Reynolds, Elon Local News.
Thanks, Jack. That's all the news we have for you tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we are off the air, check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, Elon News Network.
Have a great week, Elon.